Hi everyone, welcome back to the IT and Psychology YouTube channel. Today we are going to be starting with Unit 2.4 Types of Intelligence Tests from Chapter number 2 Psychology 12th grade. In the previous video I had discussed intelligence quotient, that is IQ, and mental age, and how to calculate the IQ of an individual using their mental age and chronological age. The formula has been given on the last page. Please do check the last video as well so that you can get a better understanding of the introduction of the chapter and how intelligence comes into work when different psychologists put forth their theories about intelligence tests. Here we continue with Unit 2.4 Types of Intelligence Tests. Today psychologists use a variety of intelligence tests to measure intelligence. All these tests are classified into the following main categories. Here we have been given a flowchart of how different types of tests are put into work. Based on methods of administration, there are two types: individual tests of intelligence and group tests of intelligence. And based on material used, verbal tests of intelligence are used and non-verbal tests of intelligence are used. So we'll be starting with our first one, individual tests of intelligence. Individual tests that can be administered to a single individual at a time are called individual tests of intelligence. Binet's scale of intelligence, Wechsler's scale of intelligence, Dr. Bhatia's performance test of intelligence, Arthur Point scale, Coe's block design, etc. are some of the examples of individual tests of intelligence. The advantages have been given here. Advantages of individual tests of intelligence. The test administered can establish a rapport with a client. The test administrator can get additional information about the client's feelings, moods, and expressions during the testing. Individual tests are more capable of measuring creative thinking compared to group tests. Disadvantages of individual tests of intelligence. Individual tests are time consuming and costly to the administer. Second pointer, individual tests require a trained and skillful examiner to administer, score, and interpret them. So this test is costly for the administrator and it is a lot time consuming. So this is suggested so that you can the administrator gets a more efficient idea about your intelligence. Here we continue to activity number 3. Please discuss this with your friends so that you can get a more efficient answer for this activity. Then we continue to unit 2.4's pointer number 2, group tests of intelligence. Intelligence tests that can be administered to more than one person at a time are called group tests of intelligence. Group tests of intelligence were devised to recruit large number of soldiers in the army during the First World War. Group tests are useful mainly for mass testing. Army Alpha Test, Army General Classification Test, Raven's Standard Progressive Matrices, etc. are some of the examples of group tests of intelligence. The advantages and disadvantages have been given for group tests of intelligence. So let's discuss them. The first one of the advantages are group tests are less time consuming and economical. And this is profitable to the administrator. Second, in administrating group tests, the role of the examiner is minimal. So he need not go through any specialized training. The disadvantages here of group tests of intelligence are given. The test administrator has much less opportunity to establish rapport, obtain cooperation, and maintain interest of the clients. Second pointer, compared to individual tests, group tests are less capable of measuring creative aspects of intelligence. So to get a much more efficient intelligence test, you should go for the individual one, as group tests do not form a good, the administrators cannot form a good rapport with the client and can't get a better understanding of what the intelligence of an individual is. Then we continue to unit 2.4's pointer number 3, verbal tests of intelligence. Intelligence tests that use language, words or numbers for measuring intelligence are called verbal tests of intelligence. In these tests, subjects are required to respond verbally to test items. Army Alpha Test, Wechsler's Adult Intelligence Test, WAIS, etc. are some of the examples of verbal tests of intelligence. Here we discuss the advantages. The first one being verbal tests of intelligence are useful to measure higher mental abilities. Second one, verbal tests of intelligence are useful to differentiate between people having average intelligence and people having above average intelligence. Then we continue to the disadvantages of verbal tests of intelligence. These tests cannot be given to people having different linguistic background, illiterate people and small children. These tests are culture bound and therefore cannot be used in other cultures. Then we continue to activity number 5. Please discuss this with your friends so that you can get a better answer for these verbal tests. Then we continue to unit 2.4's pointer number 4, non-verbal test of intelligence. Intelligence tests that use pictures, design materials, objects, etc. to measure intelligence are called non-verbal tests of intelligence. In these tests, language is not used to measure intelligence. In these tests, subjects are not required to respond verbally to test items. Non-verbal tests are of two types, performance test and paper pencil tests. Kobloch's design test, Alexander's pass-along test, Merrill Palmer's block building test, Dr. Bhatia's non-verbal test of intelligence, etc. are some of the examples of performance tests of non-verbal tests of intelligence. Raven's standard progressive matrices, Raven's colored progressive matrices, etc. are some of the examples of paper pencil tests of non-verbal tests of intelligence. Here we have been given with the advantage of non-verbal tests of intelligence. Non-verbal tests can be given to people having different linguistic background, illiterate people and small children. Performance tests are especially useful to measure intelligence of differently abled people. These tests are culture free and therefore can be used in other cultures. Disadvantages of non-verbal tests of intelligence. The first pointer here says non-verbal tests of intelligence are less suitable to measure higher and subtle mental abilities. Pointer number 2. Non-verbal tests of intelligence are less suitable to differentiate between people having average intelligence and people having above average intelligence. Here, the specimen of performance test of intelligence has been given so that you can get a better understanding of non-verbal tests and a paper pencil test of intelligence. Then we continue to unit 2.5, applications of intelligence testing in various areas. Here we start with measurement of intelligence began with the need of knowing individual differences. Today, intelligence testing has its applications in diverse fields such as educational institutes, child guidance centers, industries, recruitment centers, diagnostic clinics, etc. Following are some of the areas where intelligence testing proves helpful. The first pointer here says effective schooling. The intelligence tests enable teachers and other authorities to identify the educationally backward students and solve their problems. On the on the basis of periodic test scores, teachers are able to classify pupils into different intellectual categories to help them by devising special instructional programs suited to their mental development and thereby enhancing the process of their development to the adequate normal. Here we start with mental health aiding. Intelligence tests enabling clinicians to measure the intellectual levels of their clients. Intelligence tests are useful and helpful to clinicians for diagnostic purposes, prognosis, and deciding the therapeutic or rehabilitative programs. Here we continue to pointer number 3, effective parenting. Intelligence tests help parents to know the intellectual capacities of their children. IQ scores help parents in providing relevant educational facilities to their children and to have realistic expectations from their children. Fourth, career counseling. Intelligence tests helps students to select the right educational course which is suitable to their intellectual capacities. This helps in reducing the problems of failure, waste of time and money, etc., and increase the possibilities of being successful. Then we continue to unit number 2.5's pointer number 5, vocational counseling. Intelligence tests help people to choose the suitable vocation for themselves. This helps in reducing the problems of absenteeism, job dissatisfaction, etc., and increases the possibilities of living a satisfied and happy life. Here this is where we end the video. We'll be continuing with unit 2.6 in part number 3. Anyways, unit 2.6.1 and from unit 2.6.1 till this table over here is the portion that has been removed for students appearing for boards between 2020 to 2021. But still I'll be teaching it because after the next year students will be appearing, so even they can get a better help for this reduced syllabus. So this is where we end the video. Thank you for watching. You've been a lovely audience. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, follow me on Patreon via the link given in the description. And if you have any doubts pertaining to topics taught in this video, contact me on Telegram on the group for doubts via the link provided in the description as well. And if you want to watch the previous video, I'll be mentioning the link in the description. Thank you for watching. Take care.